The summer heat is on and pools and lakes are open for families to enjoy the weather, but are you doing enough to keep your kids safe when you are out on the water? Joining us this morning to talk about some safety tips is Jamie Rackleft, and the executive director for the Great Lakes Water Safety Consortium. So thank you so much for joining us.
Great to be here. Thank you.
So let's talk about some of the advice that you can give us when it comes to keeping kids safe around the pool and the lake, especially this time of year.
Yeah, it was 10 years ago this summer that I was dragged out into Lake Michigan by a rip current and saved by two brave strangers in a kayak. So I was the lucky one, but a 16-year-old boy drowned in that same rip current less than an hour later. So that's why I've dedicated myself to water safety and learning all I can and sharing everything that I've learned from all around the Great Lakes area.
So talk to us about some of those things to watch out for. I mean, you don't think rip current on a beautiful summer day, so how would you know about those dangers?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, drowning is the leading cause of accidental death in kids 1 to 4 and the second leading cause in all kids under 15, and they're all preventable. And our number one piece of advice is to wear a life jacket. Don't just bring it, wear it. You wear your seatbelt on your way to the lake, so you need to wear your life jacket when you get to the lake. And it's not just kids, it's adults too. You need to set a good example, and you also need to be able to save yourself if you need to rescue someone else. So life jackets are number one. One of our contest winners from middle school said, "You're not a fish, so wear your life jacket." So kids are trying to save kids. Our second bit of advice I'll share with you this morning is to know before you go. Check with the National Weather Service to see if there's any warnings issued, if any rip current warnings, any red flag warnings, and choose a beach that has safety features like lifeguards. I know they're hard to find around the Great Lakes, unfortunately, due to other budget priorities and the myth of liability. But a lot of beaches are adding more safety features like life rings and other flotation equipment. So look to see what has the best safety in mind. And then the third thing would be if you do get in trouble, if you are drowning in the lake, yell for help, because the closer you get to drowning, the harder it is to yell. That's ultimately what saved me, was I yelled early. And then flip, float, and follow. Everyone knows to stop, drop, and roll if they catch on fire. Everyone needs to know to flip, float, and follow if they're drowning. So flip over onto your back, control your panic, yell for help, take a deep breath to fill your air with lungs so you're more buoyant. In the Great Lakes, you're a lot less buoyant than in the ocean with the salt water. So fill your lungs with air, and then float, and then follow the path of least resistance back to the shore, which isn't back towards the current, it's over to the side first and then back. So flip, float, and follow.
Well, one of the things, certainly when it comes to kids out playing on the beach in the sand, is they can move out of your sight very quickly. And with all the noise and the screaming and the yelling, you can lose track of children. So what is your advice in terms of just keeping an eye on them for parents?
Yeah, parents need to be water watchers. They need to pay attention to the kids. Someone needs to be responsible at all times for where the kids are. You know, again, unfortunately, there aren't that many lifeguards around, so parents need to put down their phones, not assume that someone else is watching. That bias that we have, that we assume someone else is going to take care of things. Everyone needs to be responsible. And if you're in the water with them, touch supervision. Don't let them go. Offshore winds can take kids away, and any floatables, which really should be left at home in the pool. Don't bring inflatables to the big lake, because the wind can take kids away really fast. But touch supervision, eye contact, watch them like a hawk.
And bring more adults. I mean, it seems like if there's one adult per child, you can have an assignment of who you're keeping track of. I heard one piece of advice that said, you know, every 15 minutes, it's one adult's responsibility to watch the kids. So that's the only thing you do during those 15 minutes is keep your eye on those children and work in shifts. So
Exactly.
Great advice.
Never assume.